Simon, a 36-16 win over Newcastle means it's 3 wins on the bounce. What were your thoughts after that, especially? Well, it's a game of 2 hours, wasn't it, really?
I'd say probably more like quarters, to be honest. I thought the first and third quarters we were pretty good. The second and fourth we were pretty average, to be fair. Good though, good win away from home on the road. They're in a tough spot at the minute and they're dangerous, getting desperate. We made a few changes, which I think provides a bit of context to why the second and fourth quarters were pretty average. Yeah, on the whole, all right. Picked up a couple of injuries, which isn't ideal, but yeah, I think we made some progress around how some combinations might look should we lose, say, Louis for a period of time. So yeah, I think that on the whole, good win. But yeah, element of frustration. The boys are frustrated because they didn't kick on and make that a 50-pointer, which I think it could have been had they got those bits together. But you know, we've got a win on the road, and again, putting the context in there, the changes, the lack of atmosphere was pretty ordinary, really, to be honest. And I think we failed to bring our own atmosphere in warm-up, and that carried over into the game.
Spirit in Newcastle side, like you say, they are fighting at the bottom of the table, but are you a bit filthy about the fact that we shut Bradford out to 0, and for all intents and purposes we look to be shutting Newcastle out to 0, and then
yeah, I mean,
3 tries?
Their tries were dire as well. Yeah, I think their effort was okay. I thought the energy and urgency on goal line was poor, and that's obviously what led to them tries. Disappointing because it didn't look for, even though we weren't great, it didn't look for a long period of that game they were going to get anywhere near. So yeah, disappointing, but again, context, Woody's not played 6 for a long time. He hasn't played for Halifax at 6 for a long time anyway. Picker's in at full back, Woody playing good minutes at 9, brought Kev back. Tibbs and Jake swapped sides for a bit. Yeah, there's just a few changes in amongst it that's made it a little bit messy, but I think it's on the individuals around those tries to make sure they've got the right level of urgency and speed about their movements on goal line and get desperate, because that's your job really at the goal line. So yeah, I think we just need to be better there, but I'm not going to throw the toys out. 2 points on the road.
You mentioned at the start of the season that the team in round 1 isn't going to be the same as the team in round 10. Obviously with the changes here, it's a lot different now. Do you have a bit more of a clearer idea what your starting 13 and 17 will be?
Yes and no. I think there's a few blokes that have had a fair bit of time to do their bit, who've probably left me hanging a little bit, so there'll still be some more changes coming, but I think due to the size of our squad coming into the season and the lack of availability, if you like, in some of the positions we don't have depth in, we've ended up with depth through the middle of the field in our middles, which is a good thing to have because they're the ones who generally pick up the knocks and get the bans. But yeah, there's some decisions to make there, and over the next couple of weeks I'd like to see most of those blokes get a game. Dan Fleming, Aribi Doro, a bit patient in background. Nice to see Kev back today, but it's a squad game in the end. We will make some more changes and they'll continue to happen until the last game, but I think we're not far off getting to that team where if we want to get consistent, we're going to have to keep it minimal in terms of changes in the coming weeks. But we'll see how we go. Obviously picked up a couple of knocks today, Jake Mason, maybe a bit of something, a couple of bits of knocks in and around it. And they're quite physical, to be fair. It wasn't a great free-flowing rugby game, but it was quite a physical contest. So there's a few to check on, and then we'll put our best foot forward into Whitehaven and try and keep that Saints game far from memory at the minute, because it's those 2 points in the league we're bothered about this week.
3 of the changes that you made, Brandon Moore, Louis Dufresne, James Salton, were they forced changes, or was it the rigours of a season just rotating a little bit?
Sorry, of course, I missed Salty as well there. Yeah, Salty groin against Bulls, was it? York maybe, I can't remember now. And it was Bulls, groin, week off, other groin. And if it was grand final type of game, I think Salty would be knocking the door down, but smart choice to give him a rest, and obviously Zach's going well, so he's got a job on getting back in there as well. Brandon Moore, Brandon small, plays in centre field, he gets ran at all week, every week, and doesn't back away from any of it. Kyle Wood's been chomping a bit, ready to go in the background. Obvious choice, make a change, try and freshen him up and see where we're at next week. Who was the other one?
Louis Dufresne.
Oh, Louis weren't happy at missing, and I understand the why. We clicked in the Bulls game, so he wanted to kick on with that, and rightfully so. However, it's a long season and he's played all of them so far, plus the international. So it just made sense to give him a bit of a break, because obviously the big week's coming up. So hopefully that freshens him up a bit, bring him back in good shape for the next one.
I was just going to say, like, the do you look for the reactions in players when you do change the team around from time to time? Really, what sort of reactions they do give you?
Yeah, 100%, and it's different individual to individual and week to week, depending what's on the line, how long they've been out of the team for. There's a lot that goes into it, but generally how they behave and take it, they'll have a bearing on when they get in the next time. And I think that's what we call being a good teammate. Swallowing your bit of disappointment and adding value to the team when you're not in is really important. If you don't do that, it does stand out and it's noticed. So I think some have learned they need to do that, and some have well versed in it. They know how we do things. So we're not in a bad spot there, and no one's too upset. But when you've got everyone fit, which pretty much are bar salt here. 25 blokes don't fit into 17, and if they weren't disappointed, I'd be equally as miffed at that as well, and disappointed that they weren't disappointed. So yeah, it's a squad game on the whole, but as you said in the previous question, I think we spoke about consistency a few times, haven't we, and getting to that stage where the teams that click and get on that consistency path, I think they're the ones that when the table does split, 'cause it's still quite tight at present, you'll be part of that party, and we want to be part of that. And I think a big part of it is getting to where everyone's had an opportunity to play and we stay quite fixed in our team. 1 or 2 changes a week maximum, really, I see in the not too distant future, where at the minute I think some people are not quite doing enough for me to say, yep, that's your spot at the minute. So I think there'll be another look for a few people coming in.
One of the guys that might think he's got the spot is Joe Keys. 150th game, 20-point haul today. Just shows how important he is to the team.
Yeah, Keys is good, and he's not been making loads of breaks and stuff, so people have been a bit like, oh, Keys is not going great. I mean, people like to give me their opinion all the time. And Louis went well against Bradford, but if you watch it back, yes, Louis makes some good decisions around it, but Keys is making some space for him. He's running the game, he's doing the kicking. 90% of our kicking comes through Keezer, and he's a developing leader as well. He's enjoying his time here, which I've said before is a really big thing. He's happy, and hopefully there's plenty more in him yet.